He is always very humble person for our department. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. And you will introduce all. Then we have with us Dr. Madhulika Sahu, Madam from Anthropology Department. Madam, please come on the dais. Then I would like to request Professor Vikram Kesari Misra, sir, Head of the Department, Sociology, Ravenshaw University. I'd like to request Dr. Sujit Kumar Chaudhary, Head of the Department, Sociology. Mahatma Gandhi Central University. এইটা কাম করুন, এইটার কোনো প্রবলেম আছে? হ্যালো। And yes, Dr. Piyush Ranjan Sahu, he will be joining with us, and Professor G. Nagaraju, Department of Sociology, Central University of Hyderabad, sir will be joining on online mode. The session will be chaired, moderate and directed by Major Jaidev Sahu sir and Madhulika madam. So the sessions is here, sir. And big round of applause for Ravenshaw University that they got A++. And you see both the departments head is here and Ishwar sir is here. So you can imagine A++ पाइबा पाई केते मेहनत करिया पड़ियो मु जानि नै हला, किंतु आम पिलांकु बारंबार कहवा सहित से माने सेमिनार आसंती नहीं, अटेंड करंती नहीं हला। सार दी जन को माने ट्रैप करवा तांकु खोजी की पाइबा बहुत मुश्किल होथिला, कारण नैक विजिट करंती जेमिति तमर एग्जाम इवालुएट हुए आम मानकर मध्य इवालुएट हुए। जदि आम यूनिवर्सिटी को जदि चाहूछ A++ ताहले सबू काम सहयोग करिया पड़ियो, सबू काम पार्टिसिपेशन करिया पड़ियो, अदरवाइज इट इज मीनिंगलेस। ओके, आई एम कमिंग एंड गोइंग, क्यों खाया क्यों पिया पता नहीं, सिर्फ घर चला गया और सो गया, it doesn't work. Okay, so I really heartily congratulate both the department member from Sociology and as well as Ravenshaw University. Sir, now I'd like to request Jaidev sir to introduce and begin the session, sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Birendra Kumar Suna sir, the head of the department of Sociology, convener of this national seminar, the first offline national seminar of Kalahandi University after it got the status of university. So congratulations to the Department of Sociology for organizing this national seminar. Definitely we shall prosper because of the contribution of the sociologists who have congregated here. When our poet writes 100 years back, a poet named W.B. Yeats, a very famous poet named W.B. Yeats, had written in the poem The Second Coming, turning and turning in the widening gyre, falcon cannot hear the falconer, center cannot hold, things fall apart. That means now there is no connection, the connection is lost, the signal is lost between God and the people. So also it is applicable to our society. In society we are trying to stay aloof, alone, when there should be the bonding, the bond, the social relationship. That today we are going to discuss on social capital. And now the time is that we are trying to learn something from our indigenous people, a big thing, a big step indeed. The Department of Sociology must be thanked for this great, you see, endeavor, that how the social capital, that means the indigenous people teach us how to keep bond, relationship, indigenous knowledge, helps us to be to retain the sustainable development of the society. So definitely it's a great occasion for all of us. I invite. हाँ sir, hello sir, hello sir. हाँ sir, welcome sir, welcome. You are sir audible sir. So now the time has come to discuss about those people who have safeguarded our nature, our environment. With us today for discussion we have Professor Bikram Kesari Misra, Head of the Department of Sociology, Ravenshaw University, Cuttack. Most welcome sir to this plenary session. I request the volunteer to present the bouquet, please. In online, Dr. Pradeep Kumar Parida will join us. Dr. Pradeep Kumar Parida, Associate Professor, Center for Comparative Politics and Political Theory, School of International Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. He will join online. Dr. Sujit Kumar Chaudhary sir. He is from the Department of Sociology. He heads the department, Mahatma Gandhi Central University of Bihar. We welcome you, sir. Thank you for attending this conference, this seminar. Dr. and sir, thank you, sir. Dr. Piyush Ranjan Sahu is Dr. Piyush Ranjan Sahu, who had been to this university to enlighten our students, who has a kind of bonding, that social capital, example of social capital. Okay, he had been to our university, he had enlightened our students. So sir, welcome to you. He has come from Chhattisgarh. He is the head of ASI of Chhattisgarh state. And also with us Professor G. Nagaraju is there from Department of Sociology, Central University of Hyderabad. He will join online. So I welcome all. I also welcome my colleague Dr. Madhulika Sahu, who is another moderator. Because of time constraint, we have merged both the sessions. I am sure that the session will be very much interesting, and I request all my participants and students to take note of it, because we shall discuss, we shall clarify our doubts after so towards the closure of this session. So we have 1 hour with us. So we shall be giving 10 minutes to each of our panelists, and after 40 minutes there shall be a discussion. I started it. Madam Madhulika will close it. So thank you, most welcome to this session. I shall request Professor Bikram Kesari Misra, Head of the Department of Sociology, Ravenshaw University. Actually, credit goes to him and his team of Ravenshaw University, and it is a great day for him. Actually, we should have got sweets, but actually his deliberation will be the sweets for our students and our participants. Thank you, sir. Please, sir.
Esteemed organizer of this national seminar, my younger brother Dr. Birendra Suna, organizers, my revered teacher Professor R.K. Mahanti, who has come from Mizoram, who taught me the ABC of sociology during my graduation in BJP College. Professor, esteemed Professor Tattamasi Madam, Tattamasi Palta Singh from Sambalpur University. She is also a teacher figure for me. My fellow distinguished co-panelists, students, researchers, ladies and gentlemen. This is indeed a great moment to be a part of, as Sir told, the first offline mode conference of the department, that too in the hands of Dr. Birendra. I'm inspired at the outset. Before I definitely, sir, I'll try to complete in 10 minutes. At the outset, let me share my observation. I'm inspired by the spirited participation, voluntarism of the students of the department who has been with us in all our moments since morning till now. Hats up to the sacrifice of the students who are making. With this kind of students, if they work, sir, this university will also achieve A++ in future. And for me, actually, I thought that I may miss this occasion. We all were occupied with NAC, working day and night, even working from home at night, the way we are doing during COVID times. But I'm happy that we are here, we are together. I could meet my sir. For me, it's a moment of privilege and nervousness. Privilege in the sense I am standing before my sir, and nervousness in the sense we were afraid of him during our graduation days. Sir nalia ki dekhutile ame samaste dorike thorutulu, and I feel myself a student of that condition of 94, 95, 96 days. Sir, I am nervous to speak before you. Coming to today's topic, Birendra has assigned me the topic role of technology in documenting and preserving indigenous knowledge. Let me tell you, local knowledge, indigenous knowledge, traditional knowledge. At a conceptual level, these three terms are being used interchangeably, and we all are using. Today, Basa sir was saying it is traditional knowledge, sir was saying indigenous knowledge, traditional. We all are using, but we know the focus, where we are focusing. I am reminded of Michael Foucault in Sociology. He classifies knowledge into two types. One is scientific knowledge, another is narrative knowledge. Scientific knowledge, we all know what Auguste Comte says, it is based on observation, experimentation. And narrative knowledge is the knowledge of the communities. It includes their anxieties, aspirations, action, orientations, interactions, experiences. That is narrative knowledge. And yes, we are in Foucauldian sense, this indigenous knowledge is about narrative knowledge, is about knowledge of the communities, knowledge of the local communities. Indigenous knowledge is something that one learns from customs, narratives and oral traditions. It refers to knowledge systems held by traditional communities. It stems from their adaptability with their local environment. It relates to their coping mechanisms with their local environment. Hence, it is experience-based. It is not something a priori. It is posteriori. And this knowledge is used to sustain their community and culture. It helps, this knowledge is utilitarian. It helps in promotion of productivity, agriculture, health, biodiversity, community development, and it is, see, I differ. It is not traditional knowledge. It is knowledge. It is narrative knowledge. The way Karl Popper would argue, most of our knowledge stems from tradition. But our knowledge is not traditional. The source of knowledge is tradition. Why? Because much of our knowledge comes from our tradition. But we are not traditional. Our knowledge is not traditional. Knowledge is knowledge. Knowledge has nothing to do with whether it is modern or postmodern or tradition. That is why we are saying that knowledge exists in its own right. knowledge can be scientific or non-scientific, but it can never be traditional or modern or postmodern. Otherwise, Raja Rammohan Rai would be regarded as a traditional man, but he is the first modern social thinker of this country. Knowledge encompasses, traditional indigenous knowledge encompasses all forms of local knowledge acquired experimentally, be it art, language, understanding, practices that enable the community to achieve a stable livelihood in its geographical setting. Indigenous knowledge is native. It's a native way of knowing. It is the worldview of the local people. To speak in the language of Pere Burdu, it is the cultural capital of the local community. To speak in the language of Harold Garfinkel, it is their ethnomethods. It is their everyday ethnomethodology. Hence, indigenous knowledge is their ethnomethods. According to Chambers, indigenous knowledge includes beliefs, rituals, local technology, perceptions, ways of learning, stock of knowledge, practices of acquiring and transmitting them. According to Lanjaro, this knowledge refers to large body of knowledge and skills built and imparted through indigenous ways that are outside the formal education system. This is not taught anywhere. According to Kungara, this knowledge refers to one of the indispensable aspects of rural people who own and utilize this for transforming and developing their communities. Let me tell you the nature of this knowledge. This knowledge is collective in nature. This is not individually owned, it is collectively owned. It is considered the property of the community. It is no one's private property. It doesn't belong to any single individual. It is inseparable from their life world, their values, beliefs and customs. It is their intellectual property. Then what is so special about this indigenous knowledge? This knowledge is local knowledge, is huge and untapped resource. This can be used in many domains. This knowledge is based on empirical experience. It has evolved over time. It has evolved from trial and error. It has evolved from problem-solving strategies. It is concerned with the cultural heritage practices of the indigenous people. It has emerged from the coping mechanisms in their everyday life. It carries answers to many of the critical problems concerning health, education, agriculture, environment, confronting humanity. It's running the risk of being extinct. Then why it is on extinction mode? It is on extinction mode, this knowledge, because of all methods of knowledge management. They are often stigmatized as backward and uncivilized practices. They are perceived, presumed. These are often presumed to have link with witchcraft, magic, superstitions. It enjoys zero legal protection. That is why this practice is on the verge of extinction because of lack of support base. Then how to preserve indigenous knowledge? It can be preserved by orally transmitting from generation to generation, by writing, by documenting, audio recording, video recording, by creating a database for all traditional knowledge, by digitalizing all documents. Then the threats it is now facing. Many knowledge holders do not wish to share, do not wish to disseminate their knowledge owing to many apprehensions. One, for fear of inappropriate use. Many times people do not share because of this apprehension. It may be used inappropriately. Fear of exploitation, there is a possibility of being exploited. Biopiracy, that is commercial use by the capitalists without permission and without any benefit to the local community. Then another fear, there may be denied access, denied right to it later. Once I leave the permission to you, I may be denied in future. Then, is there a need to digitalize? Yes, there are many reasons why this knowledge is to be digitalized. One, for integration with modern thoughts. Two, this knowledge is fast disappearing. This needs to be restored. Three, this may be used for sustainable development. Four, it must exist for its own respect. 5, it has to do with livelihood of many people. 6, it must be linked to global information economy. No globalization can proceed without having roots in the local market. What is global for you is local for me, and what is global for me is local for you. Then inadequate documentation. It is not documented, it needs to be documented. Then poor dissemination. Then there is a need for intergenerational transmission of this knowledge through digital library mode. Then the role of ICT. See, ICT has to play an important role in the preservation, promotion, transmission of this knowledge. ICT helps in preservation, ICT helps in revitalization. Then while documentation, the consent of the concerned community needs to be taken. Participation on the concerned community must be ensured. Then certain cautions must be taken in digitalization. 1, this technology must be used responsibly by paying attention to the wishes of the knowledge holders. Training must be given to people how to use social media, those having smartphones, to disseminate this knowledge. Skills must be taught how to use devices of ICT to preserve this knowledge. It must be ensured that libraries, archives, museums strictly follow intellectual property rights law. Decisions must be taken judiciously concerning which knowledge to be given open access and which part of knowledge should be given restricted or limited access. The digital technology should also be made affordable and simple to use. It must be user friendly. Then it should be secure and private in order to protect the knowledge and the right of the indigenous people. Then there must be careful identification of relevant indigenous knowledge that are considered vital for the community and national development. Then benefits of digitalization. Why should this knowledge be digitalized? This knowledge should be digitalized because it helps in making local into global. It helps in raising wider awareness about local knowledge. One indigenous group comes in contact with another indigenous group through digitalization. It helps in conservation of biodiversity and natural resource management. According to Oroma, Ali and Irene, based on a study in Uganda, they opine that the engulfing process of globalization now increases the value of local information. I'll conclude. It helps in identification, collection, storage, digitalization, and dissemination. It can bridge the indigenous knowledge gap. Another benefit is it helps in saving lives of many people. See, many countries like China, Sri Lanka, their herbal, in Sri Lanka particularly Ayurvedic medicine is used a lot in curing many human ailments. There is lesser dependence on allopathic medicine as studies reveal. And it also helps in ensuring food security. And needless to mention, much part of indigenous knowledge is now used as a panacea to a series of bodily ailments. We all know what is helping us in Gandhamadan Parbat, where they are using 64 varieties of medicinal plants, and local people there, they are getting healing touch from those plants. And why digitalization, the biggest answer is the local community, hitherto remained an isolated community, gets integrated to the global community with its social capital called indigenous knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Beautifully you have presented on the role of technology in documentation of indigenous knowledge. May I now request Professor G. Nagaraju, Department of Sociology, Central University, Hyderabad, to deliver his talk. Sir, please. Professor G. Nagaraju, Department of Sociology, Central University, Hyderabad. Sir, please.
Good evening, friends. At the outset, I am extremely thankful to Professor Sociology, my good friend, the Professor Vikram Keshari Mishra, and Professor Sushil Kumar Chaudhary, and my beloved friends, Professor Nayak, and all others who are present over there. I am extremely thankful to the organizers for giving me the opportunity. I was supposed to be there physically because of some urgent work I had to be in Delhi, so therefore I could not make it to the seminar. So, let me come back to the theme of the seminar. We are talking about the idea of sustainable development from the perspective. We need to understand the history of the nature and culture. So, as a student of sociology, I wish to highlight that the Adivasi communities are at the global level who are known as indigenous communities have been known for cultivating a positive relationship between the nature and culture historically. But as long as the Adivasi practices have been followed, there was a kind of harmonious relations. Though the nature is to dominate the cultural practices, especially it is to dominate the livelihood practices of the indigenous communities, but the civilization has been survived for thousands of years. But when you look at the idea of the science and technology, which was basically a product of the modernity, and which has primarily led to which is primarily responsible for waging a war against the nature. But when you look at very carefully, the Adivasi communities are known for maintaining, are known for taming the nature for thousands of years in a very, very systematic as well as scientific manner. So, but the idea here is that these the indigenous communities have used nature according to their beliefs, but the science and technological interventions, especially the science and technology, has been used in order to promote the capitalism over the last 250 years. So the outcome is one of the major outcomes here is that the indigenous communities all over the world were primarily replaced with the so-called the prominence of the capitalist ideology. It could be the name of the American capitalism, which we are seeing, how it has replaced the indigenous communities in America, followed by Australia and New Zealand, and it's very much applicable in almost all the countries, including Africa and Asian countries, including India and then Odisha. So the point I'm trying to highlight here is that whose practices are the indigenous practices, and why one need to go back to the social capital or the diverse forms of capital, which is very much related to the ecological capital as well as the knowledge systems which are primarily practiced by the indigenous communities. Unfortunately, as we follow the Eurocentric method of understand sociological understanding as well as anthropological understanding. And most of our methods are also very much driven by the so-called scientific inquiries. Most these measures, these methods are meant to understand the coping mechanisms or the historical knowledge systems developed by the indigenous communities all over the world. But now the point is that this one of the major outcome of the wider application of science and technology to take the nature, which is ultimately works in the form of exploiting the nature, using the nature for the livelihood is different from using the nature for, let's say, economic accumulation. So that's where, friends, one need to understand the relation between, one need to understand that this capitalist orientation is primarily responsible for exploiting the nature. So now the four major victims of the exploitation. The major victims of exploitation is none other than the indigenous communities. And we have seen, especially in the context of India, though these Adivasi communities have accounted for, let's say, 8% of the population, in the states like Odisha, who account for almost 1/4 of the population, they have been driven, most of them, they were suffering from, let's say, access to livelihood sources. So the major outcome of one of the major, let's say, implications of this kind of, let's say, exploitation of the nature is that driving the indigenous communities from their home lands. So now, because of this kind of the capitalist approach, all the tribal communities, first of all, they are losing their livelihood sources. Secondly, their knowledge systems were primarily labeled as unscientific as well as outdated. So the point is that the thousands of years of accumulated knowledge which was acquired by the tribal communities, which we should refer as the knowledge capital, with reference to the ecological management, with reference to the livelihood management. But now, this knowledge capital is primarily labeled as outdated as well as unwarranted. So given this kind of understanding, where the modern science and technology is practically used as a means to reinforce the idea of knowledge and power relationship, where the Adivasi communities were primarily referred as a definer. Sorry, the Adivasi communities were primarily referred as a definer, not as a definer. So I think this is where I wish we work. The typical orientation approach, wherein the Adivasi communities are always at the receiving end. So my position here is that how to, let's say, how to capture, how to map out the multiple knowledge systems which are evolved by the Adivasi communities for thousands of years, and what are the major lessons one can learn from what are the major lessons one can infer from the Adivasi knowledge systems. My position is that, dear friends, the Adivasi communities, especially in the Indian society, as well as in different South Asian countries, they are all the best practices. But the whole thing is that now the Adivasi communities are ultimately developed, and they are forced to work as laborers in different towns and cities. So these communities, once upon a time, used to live a very dignified life in their own ecosystems. But now they are forced to, because of the modern, let's say, policies which are anti-Adivasi, as well as, and also the new livelihood mechanisms, which are also primarily demands the submission of the Adivasi culture as well as Adivasi knowledge system to the mainstream society. So therefore, friends, what I wish to highlight is that we are the students of sociology, anthropology, as well as social sciences. We need to come up with a new, we need to make a systematic attempt to capture the traditional knowledge systems which are primarily evolved by the Adivasi community. I think then only we are going to, let's say, retain the spirit of the tribal self as well as tribal knowledge. So let me stop here. I'll be happy to take up some questions and queries.
Thank you, Professor Nagaraju sir. Thank you, sir. Actually, the Adivasis, they are rich in knowledge, and the knowledge capital is to be utilized. Actually, you have enlightened our students. Thank you, sir. Again, we shall come back to you during question and answer session. Thank you, sir. So may I now request Dr. Chaudhary from Bihar to enlighten you. Sir, please.
A very good evening to one and all present here. First of all, I congratulate the Department of Sociology, Kalahandi University for organizing such a innovative topic seminar, 2 days national seminar on social capital, indigenous knowledge and sustainable development in India, the tribal perspectives. First of all, I am very thankful to Vice Chancellor of this university and especially Dr. Virendra Suna for inviting me for this academic discourse and discussion. So here I am trying to focus on these 3 terms which is used here for this conference, the seminars. So first of all, I just focus upon this the concept of social capital. I do not know about the students how they are comfortable or how they have understood this concept about the social capital. Social capital basically was started by first study by Hanifen in 1916, and firstly he used this concept social capital in the analysis of children of secondary schools firstly. And he used this how the parents and teachers and students are cooperating to each other to build the social capital. And thereafter there are many sociologists, especially Bourdieu, in his article The Forms of Capital, which was published in 1986, and he elaborated the 5 types of capital. And in that he discusses about the human capital, social capital, cultural capital, linguistic capital, and economic capital. And finally, he came to the conclusion, the whole crux, that is related with completely, that is called social capital. When you start from the human capital, the human capital without social capital or with the help of social capital, human capital cannot be developed. And then he used the cultural capital. There are different forms, embodied forms, institutionalized forms, and there are different types where he discussed about the cultural capital. So no communities in this world are lacking of cultural capital. All they have, whether it's indigenous people, tribal people, scheduled caste people, they have their own knowledge system, own knowledge traditional system. So here it also contributed at the same time in the formation of social capital. And another, finally, suppose if you take any kind of capital, as you are aware about this the concept of capital, capital is something related with the accumulation of wealth. So when we talk about the social capital, it related with the social relationship, cooperation among the different groups of people, And also at the same time, you have in this process, you can develop economic capital, human capital. Without social capital, you cannot develop your human capital. And finally, that leads to the economic capital. Finally, the agenda is everybody is something which is you must have something like good lifestyle, good life, and you must have all the kinds of facilities that you must have. So here, the crux of this Bourdieu, what he discusses, that the formation of social capital and all forms of social capital contributes a lot in that. And after that, Coleman also discusses about the concept of social capital. And finally, I'm just taking one name, that is R. Putna. His analysis in the democratic system in Italy. He wrote the book of Investigating Social Capital. So it discusses how social capital generated. So here the concept of social capital becomes very important when you take this kind of discourse and discussion. And second thing is that this is indigenous knowledge. So what I feel that all our understanding about the indigenous knowledge is something which is related, that your own community's knowledge that you are having. Okay, I have some differences in this regard, knowledge, if indigenous knowledge, because UGC also recently has announced about the how in the under the National Education Policy 2020 about the traditional knowledge system, you incorporate something which is related with the traditional knowledge system in the UG and PG syllabus. So here, what I'm saying that, and also in 2008, long back, a report was published by UNO, that a report on status of indigenous people of the world, where it, in this report, tried to categorize how will you differentiate between the indigenous people and tribal people. Okay, so indigenous people or communities, something like that, which are in the staying in the lap of nature. Something in India you will find very few communities which are still in this category. Like if you will go to the Andaman and Nicobar, then you will find the tribal group, something like the Santalese, Jarwas is related with that. Yes. So these are the things. So better to take the traditional knowledge system, how they use something like that. Or if in terms of tribal, you can use also the tribal knowledge system. They have their own art and culture. Okay, in the many analyses that you will find, the cultural capital of tribal people are very high. Because of this, they have the kind of art and culture, and at the same time tribal medicine we use. And I have some of the study that I have done in this regard. And you have the sustainable development. Definitely, tribals has some kind of that Professor Wawa was elaborated the things, how will you use this. They have their own knowledge system. And from them we have to learn, rather than we have to teach them. So these are the things. And sustainable development is something like that. So far as the connection between these three are concerned, about the tribal perspective, so why I think, so again I'm going to a little bit more details so that we can connect the different system of traditional knowledge system or indigenous knowledge system. So John Harris, in his book Depoliticizing Development, he talks about the three kinds of social capital. One is bonding, another is bridging, and third one is linking. If you talk about the bonding kind of social capital, that means you are just a kind of helping to each other among the communities, among the people of the communities. And in this process, that will help to develop their knowledge system, education, and any kind of other things. And if you talk about the bridging means you just come out from the community and then go to different groups of people among even the villages. So my study I have done also in this regard. For instance, third one is linking kind of social capital. Linking kind of social capital is more broader. Means you just not take your group, your communities or your village. Okay, in this group you can include the government agencies, non-governmental organizations and also different groups of people where they come collectively and work for the society. So these three kinds of social capital are there, and my study confirms that in two villages I have done the study. One is in Ranchi, Itki Thakur Gaon, where I found all three kinds of social capital were present there. Because of that, they have the high literacy rate, even that time 2011, according to 79.6%. And another village I took for this study in Devghar district, that is named Bhawanipatna, where I found only 46%, 4%. Why this kind of difference? Because of social capital. In that village where the literacy rate was very high, because of I found that all kinds of bonding, bridging and linking kind of social capital were present there. But on the other hand, the other district, what I found, only bonding kind of social capital were present there. Okay, so in that connection, what I'm trying to say is that if we want to form the social capital, build the social capital, then we have to think how to use their traditional knowledge system and how so in Jharkhand, I'm just taking the example, in Jharkhand, there is a brand of Kalas where the different tribal groups are making products, their indigenous products, and they are selling in the different, not all over India, but in the Jharkhand itself, and they are trying to reach, and government are supporting in that connection. So what I'm trying to say is that, so what I found again, this is that some kind of linking social capital was there. So in this situation, if we want to any kind to make a develops the country or society, then we have to include or what we say, try to develop or try to form the social capital. Social capital are very essential for their development, not only and they will reach to different parts of the country also and their communities also. So that was the thing that I am trying to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have devoted your time to explain us social capital, indigenous knowledge, and the sustainable development. You have given justice to your topic. Actually, we need not teach the indigenous people as it was said in the keynote address and by DG of ASI, that rather we have to learn from our indigenous people because they are rich with a different kind of knowledge. Thank you, sir. So may I now request Dr. Sahu from Chhattisgarh, head ASI of Chhattisgarh, to focus on his topic, please, sir.
So, my regards and namaskar to all of you, the respected speakers and dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and dear students. So, thank you for this session, and I think this is going to off the day, so you must be tired whole day, and I will not prolong. 10 minutes is allotted. I think everything is finished, everything is elaborated, and everything is talk about the social capital indigenous knowledge, sustainable development. So what I have to talk? So you got now the theory part. All the theory. Now you are mastermind in the theories. So you got all the theory part. Kalahandi University. Yes. So now I will connect the theory to the practical. What does social capital? Sir already nicely said, so many capitals are there. So sometimes we are coming inside the jargon of words. So when we are coming of jargon of words, we are thinking, oh, this is ideology, this is so many ideologies are floating, mushrooming in the world. So which is just recognized by huge people, we are just running towards that. But yes, we have to respect. This is accepted by so many scholars, so that's we have to accept it. But do you know what is really social capital? Is it existing with us, or since how many days it is existing with us? So we are talking about only 1960 the social capital come to the discussion. So if you think I am talking in English. So if a little bit I will, because how many from Odisha? Please, students. All are from Odisha. Madam, I think I will use some Odia words sometimes. So it will be very good for your understanding, and also Hindi words for sir. So thing is that when we are using my topic is that social capital, indigenous knowledge and natural resource management, because we are from among the tribes, we are from tribal background, and this place is full example of the tribals. So no need to give you the theory thoughts, just I will show you your culture only. So this is my idea. So see, 1960 we are talking, but if you will talk what is social capital, we are talking about capital, the accumulation of wealth, धन, संपद, पैसा, सोना, यही तो है ना कैपिटल. और उसको अब सोशल जब लगा देते हैं उसमें, यूज वी आर यूजिंग सोशल, व्हाट डज इट मीन? मीन्स एक रिलेशन, मीन्स ए वैल्यू with norms. This is the social capital. So do you think social capital existing since time memorial in India, in everywhere? When hunters gatherers started, that time also social capital existed. Just for example, you know Ramayana, it is from I think 7,000 years old. Because we know Prabhu Ramchandra mitrata with whom? With Banar Sena, which? Sugriv, Bali, Sugriv, both brothers, and Sugriv with mitrata. That is the social capital. Just you think, 7,000 years back we have the social capital. What is called social capital? Sir just said that Piyushji is our social capital. I have a good relation and you are very good friend of mine and brother of mine. That's why you are calling, this is my third time. So I am a best social capital of your institution because they are my friends. So Prabhu Ramchandra also with Sugriv is a friendship, is mitrata, is mitra, is a social capital. So in India, so many Baula, Sangata, Mitra, मेरा ना वो दादा का भाई का बहन लगता है वो, तो that is we are connecting with a social capital, with a relation. So why I am talking or why it is discussed today? Because you the youngest students, youngsters of the nation, if you will not establish friendship, very bosom friendship, very good relation with not only friendship, teacher students also social capital. You see Prabhu Ramchandra and Hanuman, बेस्ट वो बोले और वो जाके पत्थर को पहाड़ को ले आए. You just see the power. So this thing means you have to create the social capital, means we have to create a social relation, social connection, connectivity with many peoples. Then we can create a happy atmosphere, a good atmosphere, and also we can run our institution, our office, our village, our forest, everything. So this social capital very much exists everywhere, with also among the tribes of India. So my perspective is tribes of India. Will go to the tribes of India. Next, what is indigenous knowledge? Next please. Next slide. See, already I have spoken the norms and values, the reciprocity. What is the reciprocity? It's a very interesting. In anthropology or sociology, we call it reciprocity. अगर आपका मतलब आप अगर आपके बहन के घर गए हो या मामा आए हैं या जमाई आए हैं, if somebody brother-in-law come to our house, so he come generally with sweets, or our uncle comes with sweets, grandfather comes with sweets. When our family also goes to their family, we go to other sweets or vegetables or like sari, everything. This is called reciprocity. So exchange, मतलब we are also giving, they are also giving. So that bond created, that good bond created. आप अगर कहीं जाते हो, when you are going somewhere, you bring something for your friends. So this is also a gift. So it's also reciprocity. See, he also comes. Next please. Next. Just before 2-3 lines. Life cycle ritual, bath, death, and social fair and festivals. Everywhere we are get together, our village in tribal area, you will see all people will come and help together. I saw in your department all students are giving foods and preparing foods, helping foods. So this is called the social capital, and you will not find in Delhi. Catering will be there, something. So that's why you will be the best person everywhere. So you can manage everything because you are learning the social capital, you are getting the social capital, you are involving with the social capital. So these are the best examples I am giving. Next please. Sorry, before that. So many theoretical, I am not going to theoretical. Social capital between groups, homogeneous group, heterozygous group means we are from Department of Sociology, Department of English. So we have a good, students are generally have no relation with other departments. They are from sociology, we are anthropology. So ego is there. So some egos are there. But no, we have to create friendship with the Department of Political Science, Department of Sociology, Department of Anthropology, Department of Botany. You will find in your subject everything is touching your subject. So you have to encourage yourself and you have to get into your other departments and create the social capital. This is the thing I have to give you. And that is called heterozygous, homogeneous and heterogeneous. Next please. Indigenous knowledge system. Everybody already have said, and esteemed guest also. Indigenous knowledge. General, in very simple word, what is the indigenous knowledge? The knowledge existing in our society, the law, art, culture, belief, everything, norms, values, which are existing in our society and coming from generation to generation, from time immemorial, and going, it will continue up to generation and generation. So these are the traditional knowledge by which we are living, we are developing, we are creating very good environment in our community. So these are the indigenous knowledges. Example, what are the example theories that? Next please. Next please. So when a community comes, this is a photo from Nicobar group of islands. When clan groups, we have the clan groups. We have also the clan group, Tredikya, Kisku, Damsing in Kandhamal, just near border river. So when some work is there in a family, all the clan groups will come and do the work. But we will not see in the cities. So these are our enriched social capital. Next please. See, the indigenous knowledge. The agriculture, related to agriculture, we have so many examples in indigenous knowledge to agriculture, forestry, horticulture, hunting, gathering, so many things are there. Next please. So how the children are learning, when the youngs are doing, the children are just learning. In tribal society you will find, but in educated society, in cities you will not find. That's why the social capital is decreasing. So it is just decreasing, and but we have very good social capital in our tribal society. Next please. Next please. So see how many multi-crop is that is called indigenous knowledge among the tribes of Nicobaris. Multi-crop system. There is no time, so that's why I am not going to see how many types of fruits. So there. So how to cut that fruits? They cannot harvest all the fruits. They will keep something for the next year horticulture. Next please. So coconut also. Next please. Next please. hunting gathering. So how they are hunting? They will not hunt all at a day all the animals from the forest, which is necessary for them, and what amount is necessary, that much only they will hunt. But we the people, we will sell our whole land, or the industries like the iron ore, every ore will sell out and will accumulate the wealth. But in tribal society, that is not. The preserving for the next generation, that is called the sustainable development. Next please. So how they are hunting, gathering, and if there is no, I already have said, there is no breakfast, dinner, lunch. Whenever they feel hungry, they will go and just take little bit meat or something, and they will fill their stomach. Next please. So this is a very indigenous method, indigenous knowledge. Just applying the mud tattoo, like a tattoo in the body. Why they are applying? Because it is a traditional knowledge that it will clean the skin, and it in the forest the insects will not bite to the human being, and also they are the habituated of eating the boar means घुसरी, बारहा जिसको हम बोलते हैं. तो बारहा खाने के बाद the body will be hit, so it will increase heat. So that's why the mud will just what is called the decrease the heat, and it will absorb the heat. So that this is a scientific process. These are the traditional knowledges going years and years. Next please. Next please. Fishing also. So next please. See the boat, how many boat is there, and next please. How the fish is see. So the traditional, without traditional knowledge you cannot fish as much the fish, and the same length is the boat. So you cannot fish like that. Next please. So there is sacred place. So next please. You see the community participation in the sacred. Our Rath Yatra in Bastar, there is a Rath Yatra where tribal people are participating. So somebody will prepare the chariot, some will prepare the wheel, somebody prepare the ladder. So these are the participation. Next please. Participation. Next please. The Saura people are preparing. Next please. This is the last, I think, last slide. Last two slides. See the forest. Indigenous knowledge in the forest of our. See in this area, in Kalahandi area and also in Kandmal area, sacred groves are there. So what is sacred grove? तम मैंने देखी थी गाँव रे गाँ कले देवी देवता सब थिबे आ गछपत्र थिबो. हाँ आम मानुचे ये पूजा करछे जाइकी एबे धीरे धीरे गछपत्र कमी जाउची. So we are cutting and reducing the trees. So in whole area of Kandmal and this Kalahandi you can find the sacred groups. Also in Bastar, every places you will find a sacred group. And in sacred grove, medicinal plants are there. Huge medicinal plants are there. So these deities are the preserver, are the gods of these sacred plants and sacred groups. So we are praying and we are utilizing that in our day-to-day medicinal as a medicinal plants in our ill health, time of ill health. So this is our traditional knowledge we are taking, but in town areas you cannot find. So next please. So these are some photographs of Kalahandi, and whenever I am going, I took some photographs. Next please. See, we have mapped the whole Bastar. Where are the sacred groves? Where are the deities? Whole Bastar we have mapped in 6 years. So next please. So how the deities comes and reside inside the Sira. These are the Sira. We have also Kalsi बोलते हैं हम लोग. देवी आता है पूजा करता है कैसे. These are the belief system, norms and values. But these are also working in the tribal area. Next please. Next please. Medicinal plants. Next please. Next please. Animals also, we have very harmony with the animals also. The clan groups, we are not hunting the totem. Totem means ना clan का जो चिन्ह होता है, मतलब किसी का गाय होता है, किसी का भैंस होता है, किसी का चिड़िया होता है. Next please. So thank you. They are the medicinal practitioners. Next please. Next please. Next please. Next please. This is from Kandhamal. How the women participation in the women are the main preserver of the traditional knowledge among the tribes and all over the country also. Next please. Next please. Next please. Next please. I am not going details. Time is much. Next please. Thank you. So at the last, I would like to say that we have to preserve our traditional knowledge with that values, customs and tradition for our next generation. Thank you. question answer session.
Now, since we are coming to the end of the session, all the presenters are done. I request all our audience, if you have any question, we can take only one or two questions. Any question? Any question, any comment, any feedback on the presentation? Yes, please.
Sir, you talked about a tribal group who apply mud on their face to decrease the body heat after they eat bone. So, which specific tribal group does that?
These are the Andaman tribes. Am I audible by all of you? So this is the Onge tribe, Ongi, and Jarwa also same. But these are the now government took them to their custody. But Jarwa is still naked. I have shown you the pictures last time. This time no pictures are available. So they are naked and apply whole body. So Jarwa tribe, Onge tribe, Great Andaman. Three tribes are applying to the body, and also scientifically, but we have no evidences.
Yes.
Sir, also, what is the relevance of totem in a tribe?
Totem we find only the Nicobarese group, but we did not find other groups of the Andaman, Great Andaman. Totem is just a representative of their, they think that they are the, what is called?
Protecting. They are protecting the, like it is Dharani Penu Achi Jemti Amara.
No, that is not like that. Totem is a clan's representative.
Yes.
Means a clan means they will never kill or harm to the totem. Totem means I am just going to tell you in Odisha. कुछ भी है मतलब थ्रेडिकिया is a kind group a totem. Totem is like a bird. Chilla is the kite is the totem of the threadikia group. So they will not kill the kite because you see you link with the preservation and conservation of the natural environment. You think they think they are the successor of this kite. So maybe kite person or the person who were there who the first time, so he was acting like kite or he is with the kite, he kept the kite. So that's so many stories are there. So it is very difficult to find out, but they are protecting. The other part, the Banbhensa will be protected, buffalo will be protected, other group will be there. So in this way, all the tribal pockets you will be see something is growing, something is decreasing, but it is balanced. So this ideology is existing inside the tribal.
Any other question? Anyone else? Yes? No question? So I would like to thanks each of the speakers, starting from Professor Bikram Keshri Mishra, HOD, Department of Sociology, Devonshire University, who spoke on role of technology in documenting and preserving the indigenous knowledge. I really like when you mention about collectively owning and preserving to disseminate the knowledge. When you preserve how we can disseminate the knowledge and very rightly explaining about what are the methods how we can document in a contemporary world. Dr. Sujit Kumar Chaudhary, HOD Department of Sociology, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar. Thank you, sir, for so nicely explaining about the social capital, the emergence and the history behind the social capital and the different types of social capital and how social capital has become a mainstream of all the capital that you mentioned, the 5 capitals on human development to economic, social, economic capital and so on. I would also like to thank Professor G. Nagaraju, Department of Sociology, Central University, Hyderabad, who emphasized on nature and culture of indigenous community and highlighting the exploitation of nature and giving an example of Odisha, how Odisha has become a main where the exploitation has been done, and some of our PhD students are already working on this topic as well. So thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your experiences. And also I would like to thank Dr. Piyush Sahu. Piyush Sahu is not known to, he's known to me for quite a long time. We have worked together in Anthropological Survey of India, and I must admire his work. He is very good photographer and he's a very good field worker. Wherever he go, he would capture every small images that he see. So that is the beauty, and you can see from his work. So sir has given a true picture of social capital, showcasing his work from Andaman Nicobar to Basta region, how people are depending on the nature, and how it is like interdependence, how they are having a relation, including highlighting on totem, which is a very really important aspect of social capital. He also has narrated about the agriculture and hunting and gathering and so on. So with this note, I'm sure our students and audience have got a good picture of social capital and the true theme of today's seminar, national seminar on social capital, indigenous knowledge and sustainable development in India, the tribal perspective. So I thank each one of you being here and patiently listening to our speakers. Thank you to all the speakers who came all the way from different parts of India and expressing their thought and experiences to our students. We are having our cultural program in the same place where we had the inaugural program. I request all the audience and the speakers to be there to see our students, representing Kalahandi. So I'm sure you all will enjoy the evening. So thank you all once again. See you tomorrow for the second day of national seminar. Thank you. Yes, so let us have a group photo before we all move out of this room.
Let us take a group photograph, please. All students, all participants from here.